Another wonderful Thursday today on the Anchor of Hope of Life Formation Mission Academy. We are on our second week of classes, and for you, our dear students and parents and teachers, hopefully we are slowly getting into the manner and pattern of this school year. I know there are many challenges that continue to have us surround us. But remember this, life is always filled with challenges. That is why the school is talking about is called Life Formation Mission. Because we want our children to truly be exposed to the rigors of life. And several months ago, we looked into a series called Power for Living. That's why we did that in order to give our students the idea of what they have in order to live this life. But I began to realize that perhaps what they must first understand is the power for learning. Because learning is the activity that our children, all of us, even as parents and teachers, are going through. And if we do not understand and begin to understand the ways of learning, then we will be having a hard time really with the life we have. The word learn is really a very old word, coming as far back as the 12th century, when people began to use it. It had to do many times with digging a ditch or a trench. And to learn involves some effort. It is defined in the dictionary as the way to gain understanding of or skill in through the ways of instruction or by way of experience or by way of study. In other words, learning involves some work. But let's look at what learning is about in scriptures. The psalmist in Psalm 119, verse 71, he said, "It was good for me that I was afflicted, that I may learn your statutes." And then in Hebrews chapter 5, verse 8, talking about our Lord Jesus Christ, it says there that even though he was a son, he learned obedience by the things he suffered. In both cases, learning involves some effort and toil. And not only some, I think it involves a lot. Because if you would look at the life of our Lord and even the life of the psalmist, David, you would see that they had to go through difficult situations. You see, let us not take in what we see in the world today, that things can come easy. Even with the ease of communication, even with the internet, even with Google, Mr. Google out there, we must begin to understand that true learning will only come with hard work. Because the goal of what we are doing is not just to get a grade or to get a passing mark so that we can move on to the next. The whole thing, that I try to instill this even among my students, is not just to get the grade. It's not just to submit an exercise or a homework. It's not just to do a test. The whole purpose is to learn. Because it is in learning that we begin to develop an understanding of the skills, an understanding of the very nature of what we must learn from. Whatever skill, whatever thing that we need to understand, we have to be able to regain that. And so I want to share this. In the next weeks, we will be looking at this. The importance of this very important skill of learning, to be able to understand what it really means and what it's all about. In Matthew chapter 11, I would just like to leave this as a very important foundation for our next weeks. It says there in Matthew chapter 11, I will read from verse 28. Reading from verse 28, it says there, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy laden." This is Jesus Christ talking. "And I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me." Learn from me. You see, really the very heart and foundation of learning is Jesus Christ. When we begin to take on the yoke, when we say yoke here, we're talking about the very mission, the very life he has, the very understanding of this life. This is what Jesus wants us to take on ourselves. And so I would just continue to challenge us. Look at the scriptures and begin to realize, yes, it's hard. Yes, we need to make efforts, but that's what learning is all about. We'll listen to more of this in the next edition of Anchor of Hope. Have a great day, and I pray you are doing well in your study work.